I'm Chelsea Zaccato.
And I'm Natalie Heacock.
And this is Lumber Slingers.
Each podcast, we will be bringing you relevant and useful industry information, including interviews with top lumber professionals and discussion of current events in the industry.
Whether it be lumber grading, industry and market trends, or who's who in lumber, we hope to extend your current tally on industry knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Lumber Slingers with your hosts, Chelsea, Trent, and Natalie.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What a nice welcome that was.
Well, thank you. I've been practicing.
I can tell. Hours, I'm sure. Hours on end.
What a beautiful Monday.
It is. It's very nice. I noticed this morning it was chilly out. First morning where I felt, wow, it's kind of cold. It's not summer anymore.
I may have a little bit of pumpkin in here.
Ooh, PSL.
Already? Wait, so you made
Actually, a PSC, pumpkin spice cappuccino.
Okay.
that works.
PSC.
PSC. Sounds like a highway.
It really does. I noticed a little bit of unenthusiasm in your voice when you were speaking about it not being summer. Are you more of a summer than fall person, Chelsea?
I like summer. I can appreciate all the seasons, but
Okay.
I just noticed this morning, like, well, I'm going to have to start wearing a coat when I'm going out,
Yeah.
you know?
No,
So, yeah.
Yeah, I love fall's always been my favorite. I just think I romanticize it a lot, but that middle weather is always annoying when it's like it starts out cold in the day and then it gets warm or vice versa, in some capacity. And you're like, I don't know how to dress because like, am I going to, if I wear shorts, then I'm going to be freezing later. Or if I wear pants, I'm going to be, I hate that. That happened to me over the weekend.
This is that weird in between time right now.
Yeah. We had sports all day Saturday starting at 7:30 a.m. and they didn't get done until 4:45. I had to bring like a change of clothes. It was like there was too many things, too many weathers happening that day.
So
And I was sweating. By the end of the day, sweating.
How's being a football mom? Has it been going good?
I love it. I've really embraced it. Yeah. It is who I am now. It's like I've always been a football mom.
You just didn't know it,
But
right?
I got to use my new chair this weekend for the first time, and I was so excited. It's so comfortable. It has so many little pouches. It has a pouch for my phone and for my water and for my purse,
That's
and I
so
love it so
nice.
much.
That's
Does
awesome.
it rock?
It's really large, though, and so no one can sit behind me, so that's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Luckily, we have a lot of space in the bleachers, so it's fine, but I could see how that'd be annoying if you didn't have that much space.
So it's a chair
Right.
that goes in the bleachers then?
Yeah, it's a bleacher chair.
Oh.
It connects to the bleacher, and it can like recline. It has armrests.
Well, obviously nobody can sit behind you if it reclines. That's so rude.
Even if you're not reclined, it sits back really far. Yeah, it's like on the airplane. I'm like, you guys don't mind if I take a quick little snooze, do you?
Yeah. You're like, lady, this is only an hour. Like, get
Does it have an
real.
umbrella too
Yeah.
where it blocks people because of that? Because that would be pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Henry's team's undefeated. So I think it's
Right.
a good thing for him because he's just, not the best player, but he's learning a lot. And there's a lot of team camaraderie. And tonight we're having it's just a lot. There's a lot happening.
What's
Oh.
tonight?
Tonight is film review at somebody's house, one of the team members' houses. And then another family is bringing like a full barbecue, brisket, turkey, beans, everything.
Oh, this is like a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah. That's why you have to have a chair for it.
Exactly.
Part of your life now.
Is that 5 days
And
a
then
week for you too?
the 26 days a week.
Oh,
And the 27th is homecoming. So that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow.
that's a big one. I don't think you're ready for homecoming yet. I think it's quite the event from my experience of going
Yeah.
to my nephews. They go hard in the paint. Like they had cheerleaders and everything for that one. They didn't have them for all the other games, but it was pretty hard in the paint. It was pretty cool.
We'll see. We have cheerleaders for all of our games.
For
It's
all your
crazy.
games?
They even travel with us. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
Yeah, I'm
awesome.
actually just like, I am football now because I'm going to the Oregon State game Friday night. And then I got to rush home in the morning on Saturday for soccer, then football, then homecoming. And then obviously we watch football all day Sunday. So I am football.
You are a football, basically.
hmm
Jeez, you are embracing this. Wowza. That's impressive. I love it.
3 days of football in a row coming up for me.
Is that game that's not they already had we can't call it Civil War anymore. What is it?
I think they're allowed to call it Civil War this year, right? Or no? No?
I think so.
Anyways, yeah, they had it last weekend. They won.
Okay.
It was like 742 or something.
It seems like a
Or-
lopsided
well-
war. Just saying.
U of O won, right?
Yeah.
You're going to
But
a
I
U of O
was-
game or an Oregon State game?
I'm going to Oregon State game.
Oh, okay.
They
Who they
play University of Houston. I don't know much about college football. Okay.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So, anyways, I hear there was big news, Trent.
Oh, there was. Yes, yes. It's K. I don't have my horn again. Where's my horn at?
Dang it.
I need to bring this with. I keep
wait,
forgetting.
I have this. I
heard it a little bit.
We're ready for you.
All right. So on Friday, September 19th, it was announced that Specialty Building Products had signed an agreement, I should say, to acquire Orpac Building Products. Cue more noises.
Yeah.
Honestly, Trent, you're good at making that noise.
I do
Yeah.
actually practice because it comes in a show that Quinn and I listen to. So I do actually learn and practice it.
Well, this is pretty big news. That's I mean, that shakes up our neck of the woods over here.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they don't have a huge West Coast footprint, Specialty Building Products. So
Nope.
now they're here. Now they out here.
Yep. And that's what,
They out here.
13 locations, right?
13 locations.
That's
Second generation family run distributor of high quality building materials.
Well, the interesting thing is, I mean, especially building products tends to, I mean, they've, I think, almost always done this. I don't know if they've ever really fully combined many names, unless it was a small one. But they said they are going to continue to operate under the current brand name, same locations, management team, and employees in place. So, I mean, that's good to hear. You know, it's gonna, they're kind of able to kind of carry on the tradition and legacy in that capacity, at least.
I definitely didn't see that one coming.
I didn't either.
Like I said, it's too because it's, I mean, but like you said, coming out on the West Coast from them being predominantly, like we were saying, East Coast. And then, you know, with them, I was very, very surprised when I saw it. It's like, I actually reread the first paragraph like twice. I was like, wait, is it? It's like, is there another Orpac Billy Brand? They scroll down, like,
Right.
that's the right one. Okay. I'm like, I missed something? Okay.
It's that's a big move for them. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of how it shakes things up over here.
Yep. The thing I will say is that since this is the agreement, it hasn't actually closed yet. They're expecting it to close in the fourth quarter, so of this year, that is. So you won't really see any like probably, I don't know, like fallout in the aspect of like how things, you know, like come together afterwards until like at maybe the end of this year, but probably more so like Q1 of 26, I'd say. But
Wow.
I mean, knowing how they've done a lot of stuff, I mean, a lot of the other stuff has just been kind of business as usual. So, I mean, there's like, for at least what I've understood, you know, like all things, you know, consider, obviously there's going to be slight changes. You know, I think that from at least facing forward, you know, like a high level macro view, they seem to be kind of pretty similar across the board. Nothing too major from that aspect. Internally,
Yeah.
probably a lot of, you know, optimization and things of that nature, since, you know, they have the, you know, expertise and ability to, you know, maybe like help in certain aspects.
Cray,
Big news. Big news.
Big news.
I know. I mean, it was interesting too, because I feel like we've had some big acquisitions, but there's a little bit of a lull a couple of weeks that, you know, news wise, where I wasn't seeing as many acquisitions I came across and not as many like big ones. And all of a sudden we started getting a bunch of big new ones as well that came through. I mean, even smaller ones too that were interesting. So, I mean, you've started to see it kind of heat up again and, you know, in September and, you know, maybe you can say technically like late August as well. So, you know, another one that came across that was, you know, kind of hot off the press, so to speak, relative at the end of last week too, was National Lumber, who's in the mid-Atlantic area. I think they're in Maryland, if I remember correct. I forget where their headquarters is at. I want to say it's outside of Baltimore, if I remember, or right around that area. Announced the acquisition of Fisher Lumber in Rockville, Maryland. I like the interest, like I like the smaller acquisitions too, because I think it's interesting just to see, you know, that how those come together, because, you know, a lot of times, I mean, I think we've spoke about this before, you see sometimes with like the smaller one locations, you know, it's like what happens when, you know, that generation is ready to, you know, retire, you know, what are you going to do? You know, how is this going to go forward? Is it going to get sold? You know, is a private equity going to come in and buys it? You know, what kind of a situation are you going to have? I always, you know, like when it stays in the industry more so just in the context that, you know, I mean, I feel like they have a very big vested interest to, you know, make sure that everything, you know, keeps running as is or better. It's not going to be, you hear less negatives, I think is the best way to say it, you know, generally across the board. And you never want it to close, obviously. That's the most important thing I know clarify.
Right.
Yeah,
And-
it is. It's kind of just it's just crazy that, I don't know. It just, you know, it's kind of like it's that point of the market maturity, I guess, that we're in, where there's a lot of these smaller guys that get bought by the bigger guys, and then there's really only like 2-3 big main players. So, but I don't know, there's something to me that it seems like you're closing a little bit of a chapter of history, because just, you know, how the company was built and the history of that and the legacy and what that means, and then, you know, big boys coming in. So,
No, and I
uh,
think that that's accurate and that's fair. Like in this situation, I think that is very, very fair to say because they had said that they were going to take over the name of National Lumber going forward as well. So, I mean, you do lose like kind of that part of the history of it, going forward.
Right.
So, I can absolutely see how that, ho- I mean, how that happens quite a bit. And it is interesting because we've seen this, we've talked about this, many, many times. I mean, since I've been in the industry, you've seen it, and it keeps happening. But the
mhm.
consolidation across the board is just it's kind of bonkers when you just look at how many independent, small 1, 2 location lumber yards there were 10, 15 years ago compared to now. But I mean, with that being said, there's still so many out there too. Because I mean,
There are.
it's just crazy how many there are. So I mean, they're not going away completely, and there are some that open up that are new ones. Like I've seen new ones pop up, in in smaller communities that have like a need for them that are just brand new. So I mean, you do see some of that happen, but there is a level of I guess you say attrition going forward. Since I've been in the industry at least.
We need
Right.
to highlight the new ones, you know? I feel like I don't hear about them often. They probably like last thing they're thinking about is PR, but it'd be cool to find the new ones and highlight them.
No, I can definitely we could definitely chat about some of them because like I said, whenever I'm posting them, I always kind of take note of them when I'm working through the records because it's kind of you don't see it as much, but when you see it's pretty cool ones that are completely brand new, no history. Because a lot of times you might see one that had closed and they bought the assets, maybe even after the fact, but brand spanking new ones, so to speak, are pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm learning a lot about PR. Chelsea's been teaching me quite a bit.
Well, she's the master of PR, right?
It is a powerful tool, that's for sure.
Yes. Yes, it is. There's so many different avenues these days too with like LinkedIn, just regular press releases, local news. It's interesting because you see different companies do different ways. Like sometimes you'll see like the smaller ones, a lot of times they'll only be announced locally and they'll be like, like an article about that and then local news, and it's like that's all there is, no press release or anything like
Uh-huh.
that. Not even a Facebook post, and so it's just interesting just to see where people like how much they spread it and how much they almost want to spread it. Like sometimes it's kind of you're almost like, I don't know if many they want people to really know, the new ownership
Yeah.
because you don't really see much about it. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, there's definitely people who would prefer to fly under the radar, and it's either you're investing time and resources into it or you're not. So,
Yeah.
and I think that is kind of how you want to approach the market. Some
Yeah.
people prefer I think there's some benefits to flying under the radar because then people don't know what you're doing and you're just taking over slowly. But but then also there's the controlling the narrative piece of PR that's interesting. That's a whole interesting side of it.
And I think some of it gets lost in the fact of like when you're in like larger areas like where we all live compared to like I can think of back like in my hometown and like the smaller communities like surrounding it's like if you're in a really small community it's not as big of a deal because you're there to serve that community and that's pretty much it maybe the surrounding ones but it's like you don't really care about national like what's the point of me putting the effort into a press release I only care about xyz thousand of people and that's why I have this business it's not I'm not here to be a multi-billionaire I'm here just to serve my local community literally there was a
Right.
need boom, and that's it. And so I think that
Right.
then that fits for them, because, that's all you need. I mean, you're not trying to necessarily fall in the radar of us or somewhere else. So I mean, I think it's just it's not a one size fits all when it comes like, marketing or, press releases or anything like that. So
Right. For sure. What's new, Trent? What else
well,
is new?
there's a new appointment at Alpine West Resources. Lisa McHugh has joined the team, and she is their new VP of Finance. So she brings
Fun.
30 years of leadership experience in the finance area, accounting area.
That's awesome. Awesome to see another leading lady at that company.
Yeah.
They tend to, I think they're women-owned business, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's awesome. They're a
That's
great
cool.
group over there. Very nice, kind people.
Exactly.
Yes. Yep, we get to see them some of those NALA events. They have
They'll
good
be there.
energy.
They'll be there this year. I chatted with them about the press release here, and they said they're all going to be there. So looking
All
forward to
right.
seeing them and whoever else is going to be there. Hopefully, everyone that's listening is already registered and going to be there. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's me and Trent have to plug.
Yeah.
Yes, please. If you have not registered to come to Traders Market in Kansas City, why don't you? Come
Yeah.
see me, Trent, Natalie, the crew.
It's going to be fun.
We'll be
It's
there.
fun.
It'll be a
It's
lot of
not
fun. I'm looking
we're
forward
there.
to Kansas City, actually, and kind of seeing how that downtown area is. I love walking around, going to restaurants, and having a
Yeah,
nice steak. So I think
I
that'll
agree. I
be.
think it's kind of fun sometimes to explore places you haven't been. Like, I mean, I know it's cliche, but when we went to Columbus, I mean, that was crazy. I don't think I would have otherwise ever gone to like downtown Columbus, and that was super fun to be able to do. And so it's another place I
Yeah.
can't see. I haven't been here since I was a kid, and it was briefly. So I think it's going to be kind of fun just to see how it's different because I mean, I know you all know this, but when you go to different cities throughout the U.S., they're all different. It's just it's interesting
Hmm.
how different they are. It's kind of how they like are laid out. Like the kind of food, the kind of being able to interact with new people. I think it's
Culture.
super cool. I think it's kind of fun to,
Yes.
there's something to be said about being comfortable at like a location, but it's also fun to explore. So,
Yeah.
I like to explore.
I do
A little bit
too.
of both.
A little bit
Yeah.
of both. Sometimes I'm like, I'll be Columbus. It's like, "Ugh, I don't want to go to Columbus." But again, I was surprised by the Columbus show, but also, who am I kidding? I literally hardly leave the building. I'm in my hotel room. I'm in the conference center. I'm in a meeting. I'm in the, it's like, okay.
Yeah, some people are really good about that. I'm not one of them, but some people like that come to the events. I feel like they make an effort to go see. Like, I'm
Yes.
gonna go see the whatever attraction is in this town, and I wish I was better. But and maybe we will be when we don't have little kids.
Yeah.
But it feels like right now it's like I just got to get home to whatever's going on.
Yeah. I need a
Yeah.
margarita at the airport and let's
Yep.
go.
Well, before Quinny and my wife used to always come with, and then we'd stay for a couple of nights afterwards, to your point, and so we'd be able to explore a little more, and that was awesome. Now, like you said, I'm just trying to get home at the end of the show, and after everything's done, just to hang out with Quinny again. So, I mean, I think that if I had more time, it'd probably make things even more fun. It'd be cool if for example, if the Chiefs had a home game and we were able to stay through Sunday to go to like a football game, like that'd be
I
awesome.
know.
That'd be
Don't
Bummer.
get us started. Chelsea
There's
was
not one on
it.
either side. Either side. The
Really?
weekend before or the weekend after. Yeah.
Really?
They're in
That is
Buffalo.
what?
They're in Buffalo the week before, and then they're on a bye week the weekend after. So
What? A bye
I
week?
know.
Get out
Bummer.
on the
know,
field
the
and play,
timing.
guys.
But we're all trying to get into 1587 Travis Kelsey Patrick Mahomes Steakhouse.
Yep.
We're on some type of wait list trying to get into that. So I don't know if Travis or perhaps Patrick listen to this podcast. If you could just put in a good word and let us come have a nice steak, that would
Or
be
Taylor. I
much
mean,
appreciated.
come on. I think that's probably your
Oh
closest.
yeah, I mean, obviously, I know she does. I know she does listen, so I probably should ask.
She
her
loves
first.
lumber. She really does.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I do feel like we haven't given enough credit to interest rates also, because that was big news since
Yeah.
That was
we
big news.
have been on here last.
And you called it, Nat. You
Yep.
Predicted it,
So, what are your
as
thoughts
did the
on it?
market.
What are your thoughts then? Because I know that you've been kind of following this, very closely.
I don't know. I'm torn because I'm like, okay, is 1/4%, should we have really done that with like the data that came out? I don't know. But then also on the other side, it's like, is 1/4% really going to loosen up the housing market enough? Also, I don't think so. So I almost feel like it wasn't impactful enough. It should have either not been done or been like a half.
Mhm.
It shouldn't have been, I don't know. That's my opinion. Went to Nelma 2 weeks ago,
Yep.
and they had the I'm gonna totally mess it up. I wish I would have looked it up first. What's the guy's name? Is
For a
it
second-
Paul?
Janky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From FEA?
Force Economics Advisor. Yes.
Yes. And he gave his, annual update, and the statistics that he gave on how many people in the United States own their house outright is crazy. I mean, I want to say it was like 40% or something. And he said that that's one of the reasons why we haven't gone into a recession, because we have so many people that actually completely own their houses. And then secondly, people who do have mortgages, the amount of equity that people have in their house is huge.
That's true.
So it really helps, when a recession comes, because people have all this equity. However, it makes the housing market pretty stagnant. So anyways,
And I
it's a
would have
side
never
note.
thought that's 40% of the people who have really 40% own their house outright. I am not part of that 40%. Wow.
People who own houses. I think it was 40%.
That's
Wild.
Gosh, that's crazy. Yeah.
The banks must not love that.
That's probably why they're loving that the interest rates are still decently high. I mean, they're coming down though. I think you just like peek into that too. I mean, for example, like last week, the 30-year is down to 6.26%. So I mean,
Wow.
as far as what we've been looking at, I mean, it's a pretty good drop down. I mean, now
Yeah.
it could be a lot better, but I mean, it's better than where we've been at.
More than 80% of U.S. mortgage borrowers have at least 30% equity in their homes. More than
see that.
80%. That's a crazy statistic.
Well, I mean, one reason you also could think about it, I mean, one way you could flip it as is that some of the other people that, I mean, there's also a lack of people that own houses now or that maybe have been getting into mortgages, a lot more renters too, which might be skewing that. Where, you know, if some of those people were able to, then it would be like let me rephrase this way, like, and say that if people went to try to buy a house now and like everyone, you know, that wanted to did, it would probably flip that aggressively because like rent
Right.
is it's oh man, it's expensive. Like I know someone who just got into a new lease and they're running like a really nice townhouse, and I mean their rent's like $3,000 a month, and I'm just like, oh dang, and I'm like, you're not getting anything really back for that, you know. So I mean, but it's also just because you know they don't want to sell themselves into a mortgage because they don't know where their life's going to take them in the short or long term. So I mean, when you're in that
Right.
position where you're not able to make that commitment. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people who were scared, and with interest rates being so high before that, you know, it might be skewing that slightly. But with that being said, that's still crazy. I would have never thought 80%. I mean, that's wow.
Yeah, there are the other, especially with interest rates so high, there are some very unattractive things about owning a home if you're buying a home right now with the high interest rate because you're paying, depending on how big your mortgage is, you're paying more than you've ever paid in the last like 10, 12 years, right? And like maintenance and upkeep of the home, like you don't have to pay for that if you're renting. It's a lot
It's true.
cheaper. So
It's
homes
also
are very expensive.
yeah. There's something said for a lot of people just like to be able to, you know, come home and not ever have to do anything. And I mean, if you're renting, to your point, you don't usually have to do any of that stuff, you know, depending on if you rent a full
Uh-huh.
house, maybe you do, obviously. But, you know, I mean, you don't have to, you know, worry about the lawn and
That'd be
stuff like
nice.
that. And that takes a lot of time. I mean, anytime I remember when I was renting, it was nice when anything broke. I didn't care. Like, I'll call the maintenance people and then have to come over and fix it, you know. Now I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
shoot, I either have to hire a repairman or figure out how to be a, you know, a low grade plumber real quick, you know, and I'm like, all right, let's see if it's within my wheelhouse. It's not, all right, calling it is, let's do it. You know, so I mean, I think that I know a lot of people who just don't even want to have the initiative in the context, not in a bad way, they just don't care about ever learning that stuff. So I feel like that makes it that track leads more to, hey, you know, less I have to take on, you know, it's the peace of mind, nothing to worry about that. Like I enjoy it. I
Right.
enjoy trying to learn those things. I think it's kind of fun. I enjoy taking care of the outside as I have time, you know, but I know that there is a lot of value in that. If I didn't have to do that, why would I have a lot more time left?
Mm-hmm.
It's so nice.
True.
Really cool. Like I have so much stuff I have to do in my house. Like I gotta recaulk a bunch of stuff out on the outside and in the inside. Like I gotta paint stuff. Like it's crazy, man. I'm just sitting there. I'm looking at my laundry list of repairs I gotta do, and I'm like, man, I should rent. No,
There's always something to caulk when you got a house.
you know what?
Always.
There's always and there's you know I'll tell you I gotta go and I gotta get multiple different times to caulk because there is multiple different projects I have. Like literally gotta get concrete gray caulk. I gotta get white caulk that I have to put on the outside. Like, and I have stuff on the inside. It's pretty crazy when you go on the aisle and see how much there is. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Lots of caulk. So, how about those lumber prices, Trent?
Oh, lumber prices. They're there. Yeah. So, um, yeah. The most recent one that I had up was from like I posted last week. I believe it was last week, right? Yeah, I think this was last week's. Maybe this isn't last week's one I'm looking at. No, yeah, I think it's last week's. Was that they were down 1% or $6 from the previous week to 471. I think it's the most recent. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I have a more recent one that came out today. You know, since it's Monday, let's do that one. So they were up. Let's me rephrase that and say they were up 2% or $11 up to 482. So, hey,
Ooh,
Oh,
let's
okay.
get up.
Bumping up
Came
a
up,
little.
right?
that's
Boom.
fresh off the press.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're there.
They're
they are.
there.
It'd be nice to get back up over 500 at least. You know, that would make me feel a lot better across the board. But you know, I mean, it could be worse. I guess it's a good way to look
Yeah.
at it too. You know,
Holding
Yes.
steady, I
Holding
guess.
steady. Well, it was lovely to see you both today.
Lovely to see you as
yes,
well,
you
as
as
per
well.
usual.
We'll see you on Friday.
Alrighty.